ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकांत राधाकांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरकृष्णे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतः चार्थे सुभिज्यं स्वराट तेने ब्रह्म हृदयादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनश्च भद्रं भजता दधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। श्रीमद् भगवद गीता के इस सत्र में आप सभी का स्वागत है।
We welcome all of you to this session of Śrīmad-Bhāgavata Gita. We are studying second chapter, verse number 19 onwards.
अर्जुन को आत्मा और शरीर के विवेक का
Bhagavan Shri Krishna is giving the knowledge of Atma and body to Arjun, the discrimination between the two, because Arjun's root problem, his primary problem, was
अपने परिवारजनों को अपने संबंधियों को देखकर शोकाविष्ट होना,
that he became dejected seeing his relatives, his families, and the cause of this is ignorance, and ignorance means not understanding the difference between body and Atma.
इसी को सांख्य योग भी कहते हैं।
This is also called Sankhya Yoga,
प्रकृति और पुरुष का विवेक करना
because
सांख्य योग का
doing discrimination of Prakriti and Purush, that is the main Siddhanta of Sankhya Yoga.
अध्यात्म की पहली सीढ़ी है।
This is the first step on the path of spirituality. and the ignorance that we have related to body, Atma, and we have attachment due to which we have raga and dvesha. So this teaching that Bhagavan is giving, this is the solution. Because until and unless a person rises above the duality of raga and dvesha, till then he cannot progress on the path of spirituality, because all his energies, the Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, they are all employed in this Raga Dvesh only. Being immersed in Anatma, that is not Atma, that is temporary. So if a person employs all his energies in what is not Atma, then that is not a wise decision. That's why Bhagavan said that you are talking like a wise person, but you are behaving like a fool. In the previous verses we studied, Bhagavan said that Atma is eternal, never becomes old, and body is temporary, and we should tolerate the pains and pleasures that come to the body. The body is temporary and Atma is avinashi, it is imperishable. Now Arjun may ask, does that mean that if Atma is eternal and body is perishable, so then can we kill anybody? That since body is anyway perishable, this question is raised often, that Atma is eternal, it is imperishable, it is immeasurable. So that means we can kill anybody then, because so this doubt may arise. So considering that doubt, Bhagavan speaks this verse 19. Translation: one who considers the self to be the slayer and one who believes it to be slain are both ignorant. For the self neither slays nor is slain. So, first of all, Bhagavan is trying to explain that actually nobody is killed and nobody can actually kill. Meaning that Atma is not the doer of the act of killing, neither it is the karma, it is the effect of the act of killing. The doer of the activity is called karta, and the result of that is called karma. Like if somebody says that I go to Vrindavan, so the I is the karta, the doer, and Vrindavan is the karma, the phala. Because his activity of going, its result will be to reach Vrindavan. That is why Bhagavan is telling that Atma is neither the karta nor the karma, nor the doer, neither the doer nor the effect. So that is why one who thinks that the Atma is the slayer or thinks that the Atma is slain, both are ignorant. Means they do not know the truth. That nobody kills anybody, neither nor anyone is killed by anybody. And body is anyway already dead. You cannot kill that which is already dead. So you cannot kill what is living also, and there is no point, no logic in killing one who is already dead. That is why there is no killing anything. There is nothing called killing. Then the question is, why do we talk often of this killing? So he had told earlier in the Dehinosmin Yatha Dehe verse that death is simply the separation of Atma from the body. When Atma leaves the body, that is called death. And that will anyway happen, because if one thing is eternal and the other is temporary, then their relation will also be temporary only. The relation of two eternal objects can be eternal, and two temporary objects will also be temporary. But if one is temporary and one is eternal, then their relation will be temporary only, because the anitya, the temporary, will get destroyed and the eternal will continue. So our relation with the body, that relation itself is also temporary, and this separation of atma and the body cannot be stopped. It will happen one day. And if that is the reality, then what is the point in grieving for that? Like if there is a tree, when you sow the seed, the tree, it grows and the tree gives fruit, and then after a point of time it dies. So this is a cycle. So what is there to grieve in that? So our body also is like that. Like by the union of the male and the female, the child is born and then the child grows and then one day it dies. So then what is there to grieve for this? Atma anyway never dies and body is anyway already dead. So the grieving, the lamentation is for whom? So that this topic is being analyzed by Bhagavan here. Bhagavan is explaining that one who does not understand this truth is ignorant, and the result of ignorance is lamentation. If somebody is lamenting or in moha or bewilderment, then the only cause of that is ignorance. Because a knowledgeable, wise person never laments, because there should be some reason for lamenting. Knowledgeable, wise person understands and he never falls into lamentation. And ignorant person is bound to lament because he is in ignorance. So the root of this problem of grief, lamentation is ignorance. That's what Bhagavan is explaining here, that actually nobody experiences death. Nobody ever has experienced his death, neither is experiencing nor will experience in future, because it is not possible to experience that. We experience life, but nobody can experience death, because if you experience death, then you won't continue only, and then you will not remain anymore to tell of that experience. So this is a great illusion that death happens, because whose death happened? Who saw that death? If we have not seen our death only, then one who is dying, he has also not seen his death. If I have never experienced my death, never seen my death, then whoever other person is dying in front of me, he has also not seen that. He has not experienced it. So nobody dies, but we say that every day so many people die. So death means that much only, that Atma got separated from the body. And until and unless we understand this, till then we will definitely lament due to the ignorance. Because then, due to ignorance, we have attachment, that is raga. Like if you are going in a car and the car meets an accident, if the car is hit by some other vehicle from front or behind, and then the door gets damaged, but you are not damaged in that, but you feel as if I only got damaged. So we say that you hit me, but actually the car was hit. But we superimpose that on ourselves due to ignorance. Now that is a different point, that car has got hit, damaged, and we have to get it repaired. But similarly, nothing happens to Atma and nothing can happen to Atma. Bhagavan will tell that also in the upcoming verses. But we keep on thinking that this happened to me, that happened to me. We always remain in that feeling. So for behavior, in behavioral language, we can speak like that, but internally we should understand that whatever is happening to the body, not to me. So this is important. That's why Bhagavan said, but this does not mean that we can kill anybody, we can cause violence to anyone. Why should we kill anyone? Once we have understood this, why should we kill anyone? Why should we cause pain to anyone? So, in reality, when we say that it is a sin to kill anyone, that sin is the sin of deriving enjoyment in that act of killing. When we think that we are killing someone, in that activity, the happiness that we are deriving by taking some revenge against somebody whom we think is our enemy, actually, that person also is not killed, nor we are killing. Both are ignorant. We are thinking we are killing him. Because if we have knowledge, then why should we kill him? And the other person, if that person is causing disturbance in society and has to be removed, then why will you take pleasure in getting that person killed? Then that will become a duty. Like there is military, there is police, so they have to uh, uh, maybe they have to kill some criminal, some offender. So that is simply their duty. It is a system made in the society. So knowing this also person can kill, because then the question is that if nobody kills, nobody is killed, why is Bhagavan telling Arjun that you fight in this war? So the point is that these people are irreligious, they are causing chaos in the society, and they have usurped your property. That is why, just for the sake of dharma, for the sake of justice, you should fight in this war. That is a different point. But what people think, people start thinking like this, that anyway nobody is killed. So even if I do something to this person, I will not accrue any sin. So no, that is not the point. Because if that is the case, first question is why are you anyway doing it? That means you still have attachment. You are simply speaking like that theoretically, but you have not understood that point. That's why Bhagavan is you has used this word here, vijanito, that both do not know, they do not understand. Simply hearing and accepting, that is a different thing, and to actually understand that, that is a different thing. So generally what happens, people hear and then they misuse what they have heard, that if we do this there is no sin because Bhagavan has anyway told that, because nobody dies, Bhagavan has told that. So if we do behave like this, then that person is simply rationalizing his or justifying his wrong activity. Actually, that person has not understood the statement of Bhagavan properly, but he is simply misusing it. Means uh, the person is not behaving on the platform of truth. The person is pulling down truth to his own platform and twisting it. So we can live on in two ways. One is that we try to reach, we raise ourselves to the platform of truth, and we situate ourselves on that platform and behave accordingly. So that is proper behavior. In that behavior, if somebody is fighting or even killing, then he will not accrue any sin, because that person is not fighting or killing out of raga and dvesha. But when a person simply hears or reads Shastra and then misuses it for his own protection, that I never did like this, that I am not the doer. Like generally, an example is given. There was a person, so he killed another person and he was caught by the police and he was taken to the court in front of the judge. And the judge asked, have you killed this person? So he said that no, I have not killed. So then he said, but the police saw you doing this. There is a witness. So then the person said that, my lord, nobody kills anybody. This is what Bhagavan has told in the Gita. And in India, when witness says anything, he says by taking oath in the name of Gita. He touches Gita and declares that whatever I will speak will be truth, and I will not speak anything but the truth. So then he says that, my lord, this is written in Gita, that nobody, that one who thinks that he is the killer or is got killed, then both are ignorant. So then he said that, who am I to kill anyone? So he said that this is all the play of material nature. My hand did that. I did not do anything. I am not this hand. So then the judge understood that this person is clever. The person is crooked and I have to deal with him. So then the judge said, okay, no problem. We will release you. And then he was released. And the person was very happy. And he thought that how cleverly I saved myself. And he was a rich person. So his daughter's marriage occasion came up. And in India, when there is marriage, people spend lot of money. They organize big festival. They invite so many people. They make so many programs. So marriage is a big festival in India. So then the person thought I should invite the judge also, because had released me. He did. And then the judge was invited. Judge came, and then he brought two police officers also. He said that, come with me today. I will deliver the justice. So then he had his own plan. The judge came, and the person uh, gave special welcome to the judge, and he started showing that this is my building. This is the palace I have made. The judge asked, from where you got this painting? He said that I brought this from France. I had been to Paris. So then he was showing all this. He was showing his beautiful garden. This tree, I brought it from Japan, etc. So then the judge said that, you have done so much. And then he said that, I have done all this. Then the judge asked, then, if all these things have been done by you, the murder was done by whom? You are doing all these things. So for all these things, you say you are the doer. But when it comes to the act of killing, you say you are not the doer. So then he called the police officer and said that, put him in the jail. When it comes to the act of murder, then he says he has not done. He is not the doer. For everything else, he claims to be the doer. So this is not the proper meaning of this verse, that we read it and we twist, we misuse it. So this misuse happens when we actually do not understand the meaning, and we rather bring that knowledge to our own level and we misuse that knowledge. So that is not what Bhagavan means here, how people misuse this verse. Bhagavan is explaining here. He will tell in the upcoming verses that, understanding this, we should perform our duty. So we can perform our duty in two ways. One is without understanding the truth, and with one is with understanding the truth. So here in Gita, all the time, Bhagavan will talk of karma till the end. Perform your duty. He will talk of karma. Even in 18th chapter, he will speak of performing karma. So Bhagavan is not telling in Gita that you give up your karma. He is simply telling that you perform your karma with understanding. Because when a performs karma with understanding, then he rises above papa and punya. So when a person understands that everything, all these things in material world, everything is temporary, and we should not have raga or dvesh for anybody, when that person rises above rag and dvesh, then only he can do karma properly. All this papa karma that we say, this is all due to raga dvesh. Mostly the inclination that a person has, that is due to raga and dvesh. And an average person doesn't even understand this. Many times this question is asked that if we do not have attachment to our family members, how can we act? So this is not the truth. Actually, if you get rid of attachment, you will actually act properly. Now you are acting out of raga and dvesha, and it is due to your own selfishness. That's why relations get destroyed. Because the person whom you love, you also become angry on that same person. And then the relation gets destroyed. You can cause harm also to that person. Problem between brothers, father, son. So much uh, so much problems are seen in these relations. So this is because of rag and dvesh. But when a person rises above this duality, like we see the life of Lord Rama, he could also have raga dvesh towards his father, that he is doing politics with me, he is sending me to the forest. He could have dvesha to Bharat, that Bharat is trying to usurp the entire kingdom. But that did not happen because Bhagavan is above raga dvesh. And then there was so much love between him, his brother, his father. So it is not that action is done only out of attachment. That is our illusion, our wrong understanding. Because we don't understand what it means to act after rising above this duality of raga and dvesha. So in Gita, it is taught, there is lot of discussion about how to rise above this duality of raga and dvesha, the attachment and aversion.
इस बात को बार बार दोहराएंगे।
So this point will be repeated time and again by Bhagavan in Gita, because in this world all the actions are done out of raga and dvesh, and when we come to the path of spirituality, we remain immersed in this raga and dvesha only. It doesn't leave us so easily. And then what happens? We try to justify, because it is the our nature of our intelligence that whatever we do, we we try to think that whatever we are doing is right, and we try to prove it to others. And a human being cannot understand himself that what he is doing is actually out of dvesha. He doesn't accept that. He cannot understand it on his own. That is why guru is needed. And guru means qualified guru, one who actually understands all this truth. That is why Arjun had told Bhagavan that I become your shishya, I become your disciple. Understood? Arjun had understood this, that I cannot get rid of this lamentation, this shok on my own, because this lamentation is drying up my senses. I do not see anybody except you who can rescue me from this grief. So only a qualified guru can take you out of this rag and dvesha. And this is real courage. This path of spirituality is only for courageous people, because actually accepting a qualified guru and listening to what he says, acting accordingly, that is real courage. Otherwise, what happens is that people are cowards. They do not want to rise above this duality of raga and dvesh because they have got accustomed to that. They derive some kind of rasa of in criticism, in dvesha. This is a great, big rasa that people derive from that, and it is very difficult to give up that rasa of criticism, of dvesha. It is not that the person who is criticizing is complete in himself, is complete, is perfect. So the person doesn't see his own defects, rather he focuses on others' defects. And especially in the path of spirituality, this what I have seen, what I'm telling practically, this is what happens in the path of spirituality, that we hear this philosophy, we read this philosophy, and we apply it for what? We apply this philosophy immersing in rag and dvesha, so that we do not come out of rag and dvesha, how we remain immersed in that. And like this, we misuse the Siddhanta of Shastra, we misuse the philosophy. and this should not happen. And one who is doing this, that person is harming himself or herself only. Because when you have envy, dvesha towards somebody, then that person, whether he gets affected or no, there is no guarantee. But when you are having this feeling of dvesha, you are definitely getting affected by that. You are anyway drinking that poison of dvesha. It's like a poison. So you are anyway immersed in that and you think about yourself. But we feel very happy drinking that poison. Our ahankara becomes specified by that. And then we also talk about that very bravely that I spoke like this to that person. We say I did not mince my words. I did not leave anything. So we feel very courageous in this. But there is no courage or bravery in this. Courage, bravery is in understanding that and removing that raga dvesha from our own heart. Then only we can attain Bhagavan, then we can actually come to the bhakti path. People say that why do you talk about Vedic psychology and all? No, you cannot even come to the path of bhakti without understanding this because this path is a path of love, and then you will feel that benefit in your own life, in your own family, in your social life. Not that this is just some spiritual topic, this is something going on in the air. No, this is a very practical behavioral knowledge. This is the real ananda in our life when we understand this.
और फिर आगे
Then in the next verse, Bhagavan says,
न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचिन् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे यह आत्मा न
so
तो कभी
translation, the self never takes birth, nor does it die, nor having once come into being, will it ever be subject to further becoming. It is birthless, eternal, changeless, and primordial. It is not killed when the body is killed.
तो पिछले श्लोक में इस श्लोक में आगे वाले श्लोकों में भगवान
So, in the previous verse, this verse, in the next verse, Bhagavan is talking of Atma only. Because there is no need to talk much about body. You can study that in biology also. That which part is situated where is the kidney, where is the liver, all these things can be studied in biology. You can study there in anatomy. So that's why Bhagavan doesn't speak much about body. He is speaking about Atma. Because in no Shastra anywhere in the world we will get knowledge about Atma. Only in the Vedic Shastras in India we get this knowledge of Atma. This knowledge is very rare, we do not get it anywhere else. That's why in detail is Bhagavan is explaining it here. So all the objects in material world, they are all subject to transformation, they are vikari. So according to Nirukta Grantha, there are 6 transformations. First something is born, like if you take a tree, first it is born. After being born, it exists, it remains, then it grows, then it then it undergoes transformation like fruits, flowers, etc. After that, it starts dwindling. Like in the case of tree, that fruits, the leaves starts falling down, and then it dries up. it gets
तो
destroyed.
ये 6 प्रकार के परिणाम
So
या
these
विकार
6 types of
भौतिक वस्तु में होते हैं,
transformations or vikara, they
हमारे शरीर
happen
में भी ये
to
विकार होते हैं।
material object. This happens to our body
और
also.
आत्मा जो है इन विकारों से
And
परे है,
Atma
हम ये
is
समझा रहे हैं,
beyond these
ताकि हम इसको
vikaras, these
विवेक कर सकें।
transformations. That is being
क्योंकि
explained here so that we understand
ये
that all
आत्मा
these
नहीं है,
transformations, they do not happen to
इसलिए
the
हम इन
Atma.
विकारों को देख सकते हैं,
That's why we can
हम
see
इन
these
विकारों का
transformations, we can
अपने
witness
शरीर में
them,
कर
we
सकते हैं।
experience them in the body.
अगर हम भी स्वयं विकारी
If
होते
we ourselves were
तो
also
उन
subject
विकारों
to
को
these
अनुभव नहीं कर सकते,
transformations, then we could not have witnessed these
क्योंकि
transformations.
दृष्टा जो है वो दृश्य
Because
से अलग
the
होता है।
seer is different from the seen.
तो हम शरीर में विकार देखते हैं,
So we see these
कहते हैं कि
transformations in the body.
ये तो हमें
We
याद नहीं
were
है, लेकिन
born, although we do
समझ
not
सकते हैं कि
remember that,
कुछ
but we can
परिस्थितियों में
understand that,
हमारी
like we see others getting born.
हमारी
So
सत्ता आई,
similarly, we were also born,
हमको नाम दिया गया, फिर हमारा
and
शरीर
then
बढ़ा,
our we were given a name, we
ये
existed,
सब
we
लिया गया।
experienced the body
उसके
growing up.
बाद में शरीर में कुछ
Everyone has
बदलाव आते हैं
experienced that. Then there are transformations in the body.
और फिर शरीर वृद्धावस्था को पहुंच
Then
करके
that body
पतले
reaches
गिरता है,
old age, starts
झुर्रियां पड़ने लगती
dwindling.
हैं,
There are wrinkles on the face. We can't
मसल्स
stand
ढीली हो जाती
straight.
हैं,
Muscles start becoming weak. They
वजन
become
कम बढ़ता
loose.
है
Weight goes down.
और नेत्रों की ज्योति कम हो जाती है,
Eyes start
सुनने की
losing
शक्ति
proper
घटती है,
sight. We do not hear
खाना
properly.
पचाने की शक्ति कम हो जाती है।
Digestion power also
होता है
reduces.
ना, ये सब शरीर का
So all
शक्ति
this
का स्तर
happens.
कम हो जाता है,
Body starts
तो
losing
ये
strength.
अपक्षय है।
So this is
उसके बाद
apakshaya.
विनाश हो जाता है,
And then there is
शरीर
vinasha.
नष्ट हो जाता है, जिसको मृत्यु
The
बोलते
body
हैं।
is destroyed. That is called
तो
death.
ये हम सब इसका अनुभव करते हैं,
So we all experience this.
और क्योंकि हम अपने शरीर का
And
अनुभव करते हैं,
because
इसलिए
we
हम शरीर से
experience
भिन्न हैं।
our own body, that is why
क्योंकि अगर हम
we are
शरीर
different
होते
from the
तो
body.
इसका अनुभव
Because
नहीं
if
कर
we would
सकते,
have been body, how could we have
क्योंकि अनुभव
experienced
करने
these
वाले को
changes in the
स्थिर रहना
body?
पड़ेगा।
Because one who is experiencing or
जो
witnessing
स्थिर
has to
होगा
remain
वही
stable. One who,
होती हुई वस्तु
that
देखेगा,
object which is stable, that stable
अगर
object can
अनुभव
only
करने वाला कोई
experience
बदल गया
the unstable or
तो
the
वो बदलती हुई
transformations in
वस्तु
the
का
other
अनुभव नहीं
object.
कर सकता।
If the witness, the seer itself is transforming, how can he
तो
experience or
जैसे
witness the other object?
एक
So, like
सिनेमा हॉल में जाएं,
when you go to, let's if you go to a cinema hall, you watch a
तो आप
movie.
वहाँ पिक्चर देख रहे हैं, वहाँ सब
When
कुछ
you are
चल
watching
रहा
the
है,
movie, there
तो
is so much
आप
movement
बैठे हैं
happening,
उसको देख रहे हैं,
but you
आप
are
कुछ
sitting
नहीं
and
है,
seeing that you are stable,
और
sitting in one place,
पिक्चर स्क्रीन के ऊपर
and
चल रही
the
है,
and the picture, the movie is on the
इसलिए आप
screen.
उसका अनुभव करते हैं
So
क्योंकि
you
आप
are
स्थिर हैं।
experiencing that because you
अगर
yourself are
आप
stable.
बदल जाएं,
If you yourself are
2 मिनट
transforming or
बैठने के
moving,
बाद कोई और आके आपकी कुर्सी पर बैठ जाए, फिर
if
2 मिनट
you sit
बैठने
for
के बाद
2 minutes, then some other
कोई
person come and
आपकी
sits, then
कुर्सी
some
पर
other
बैठ जाए,
person sits on the chair,
फिर आपसे पूछें कि इस पिक्चर
and
में
then
आपने
if you
क्या
are
देखा,
asked
तो
what
आप
did you see in
2 मिनट
the
ही बता
movie,
सकते हैं उसके
then
बाद
you
नहीं
will
बता
be able
सकते,
to tell only for that 2 minutes.
क्योंकि
You
आप
cannot tell
बदल
more
गए
than that
और
because
नजरिए
you
आपके
yourself
बदल गए।
changed.
तो अगर पिक्चर के साथ आप भी
So
बदल
if
जाएं
you also change in
तो
line
आप
with the
मूवी के
movie,
बारे में नहीं बता
then
सकते,
you will not be
उसका
able
अनुभव आप
to
नहीं
tell
कर
about
सकते।
the movie because you could
उसको
not
आप तभी अनुभव
experience
कर
it.
सकते हैं जब आप
You could
स्थिर रूप से
experience
उसकी
it
तरफ
only
संवेदनशील
when you
रहेंगे।
are a stable seer
तो
of that
ऐसे
movie.
ही ये शरीर बदल रहा है,
Similarly, the
इसके
body is
अंदर अगर हम बैठे
transforming
हैं दृष्टा,
and we are sitting inside that,
अगर
we
हम
are the
स्थिर नहीं
seer.
हों,
If we
तो
are
इन
not
शरीर में जो
stable,
बदलाव आ रहा है
then
उसको
the
हम नहीं देख
transformation
सकते।
happening in the body, we cannot
तो
experience
इससे
that.
ये सिद्ध होता है कि हम नहीं बदलते।
So it proves that we do
रात को
not
हम सोते हैं,
transform, we do not get transformed.
तो जब हम सोते हैं तो
When we are
हमें
sleeping at the night, when we are sleeping, then
अपने
also we
शरीर का
exist,
उस समय भान नहीं होता,
but we do not have
लेकिन हम
knowledge
हैं,
of our body that time, but we are
सोते
there,
नहीं हैं।
we exist.
तो उस समय अगर शरीर हम अगर
So that
शरीर होते
time, if we
तो
would
हम
have
सो
been
नहीं सकते।
body, then you could not have slept
अगर
only.
हम शरीर होते
If we would
तो हम
have
सो नहीं
been the
सकते,
body,
क्योंकि जब तक
then we
आप
could not
अपने
sleep
शरीर का अनुभव
because
करेगा तब तक आप नहीं
as long
सोएंगे।
as you have
जब
experience
किसी को
of the
रात को नींद
body,
नहीं आती
then
है,
you
वो
cannot
सपने में
sleep.
पड़ा रहता है, तो क्या होता है,
When
वो
a
शरीर
person
भूल
is
जाता
not
है।
able to sleep
सोने का मतलब ही
at the
शरीर
night,
को भूल
then
जाना,
that is because he is experiencing the
क्योंकि
body.
शरीर संबंधी
Sleep is
जितनी
nothing but
विषय,
forgetting the body.
शरीर
Sleep is
संबंधी
nothing but
व्यवहार जितनी
it
भी
is
चीजें हैं
forgetting the body and all everything related to the body. We
अगर
forget
मैं
that,
सो रहा
and
हूँ
then that is
शरीर
sleep.
को भूल कर, तो इसका
So when we are sleeping, forgetting the body, that means we are different from the body. Otherwise, we cannot sleep only.
तो इसलिए वो जो दृष्टा
That is
है जो
why
स्वप्न का
that
अनुभव करता है,
seer
जो जागृत
who is
अवस्था का अनुभव
experiencing
करता है,
the
और जो
wakeful
सुषुप्ति
state, the
अवस्था में
dreaming
वापस
state,
ड्रीमलेस
and the
स्टेट में चले
dreamless
जाते हैं, उसका भी अनुभव करता
state,
है,
same
वो
person is experiencing all three, and we are that
और ये बाहर वाला जो है
experiencer,
ये हम
the
नहीं
seer.
है।
And the outside, that is the body, we are not that. That has been imposed on us.
तो यहाँ उसी की बात कर रहे हैं
So
भगवान,
here, Bhagavan
कि
is talking
यह
of that
अनुभूति
only. That's
जो
object which is inside the body
विकारित नहीं होता, जिसमें
and
कोई
which
विकार नहीं
never
होता, कभी
transforms,
बदलता नहीं, जो स्थिर है।
which is stable.
तो जैसे
So, like
स्क्रीन के ऊपर पिक्चर दिखाते हैं तो स्क्रीन नहीं
on the
बदलती,
screen, we
एक तो
see the
जैसे अभी आप
movie,
अपना
the
टेलीविजन
screen is
देखते
also
हैं,
not changing. When you see the
टेलीविजन की स्क्रीन है,
television,
आप उस पर
the
चैनल
television
बदल के
screen,
देखते हैं,
you
प्रोग्राम
keep
देखते
changing
हैं,
the channel,
लेकिन स्क्रीन तो
see
स्थिर है,
different programs, but the screen does not change.
प्रोग्राम बदल सकते हैं।
Program may
तो हमारा
change.
शरीर जो है
So our
वो उसी
body,
तरह से बाहर की चीज है जो इसमें
it
बदलाव
is
होते रहता है,
external
और हम अंदर जो
and
है
it
उसी
keeps
के अधीन है।
undergoing transformations, changes,
तो
and
हमारा
we
जो
are
दिमाग
inside
या
that.
मन है वो एक
So
चैनल
our
है,
mind is like a
क्योंकि हम
screen,
जितने भी अनुभव कर रहे हैं अभी,
because all everything
अक्सर
that
हम
we are
उनको मन में करते हैं।
experiencing, we are experiencing it in the
जब
mind
जागरण
only.
देखते हैं तो वो भी मन में
At the
देखते हैं,
night time when we see
तो
dream,
वो मन जो
that
है वो
also is
स्क्रीन
seen
है
in the mind only. So mind is the
और हम उसके
screen
दृष्टा हैं,
and we are the
तो हमारी
seer.
सब अनुभूति उस पर
And
आधारित
whatever
है।
external we are
तो
experiencing, that
वास्तव में
all
हम केवल
it
एक पिक्चर
happens in
देख रहे
mind.
हैं और कुछ नहीं
So
देख रहे
actually
हैं,
we are simply seeing a movie,
क्योंकि बाहर की कोई भी वस्तु है
because all the
उससे
objects
हमारा कोई
external to
संबंध
us,
हुआ नहीं है, वो तो
we
अंदर है।
are actually not having any relation with that.
तो
We
जब
are
हम स्क्रीन
inside.
पर देखते हैं, जब
We
हम
are just
स्क्रीन पर
seeing that
आकर
on the
किसी वस्तु
screen.
को देखते हैं तो उस वस्तु को थोड़े देख रहे हैं, उस वस्तु की एक इमेज,
So when
एक
we are
प्रतिबिंब
experiencing something, we are
हमारे
simply experiencing its
मन पर
reflection
पड़ता है और
in
उसको
the
देखते
mind,
हैं,
the
और फिर
image.
हम कहते हैं कि मैं इस
And then we say
व्यक्ति को देख रहा हूँ,
that
इस
we are
वस्तु
seeing
को
this
देख रहा हूँ,
person or anything. Actually, we are not
मैं
seeing
थोड़ी
that
देख रहा हूँ,
person, we are seeing its image
क्योंकि हमने
only.
आज तक कोई भी वस्तु वास्तव में देखी नहीं है।
So actually, we have never seen
हम
any
देख
object
सकते
till
हैं क्योंकि
today. And we
साक्षात
cannot
तो
see
हमारा उससे कोई
also
संबंध होता नहीं है,
because we don't
हमारा
have any
माइंड
direct
नहीं है।
relation with any object. It is only through the
अगर
mind.
किसी को डिमेंशिया हो गया
If somebody, let's say, has
और
dementia
उसकी सारी मेमोरी,
and
स्मरण शक्ति समाप्त हो गई,
he loses all the memory,
क्या वो किसी के लिए शोक करेगा?
will that person lament for anybody?
कोई आदमी मर जाए
If
उसके
somebody
परिवार में,
dies in his family,
तो क्या ऐसा व्यक्ति उसके लिए रोएगा?
then will that person cry for that other
नहीं,
person in his family who
क्योंकि
died?
उसकी स्मरण शक्ति
No,
चली गई,
because he lost his memory.
उसको पता ही नहीं है कि ये मेरा बेटा
It
है
doesn't know only that this
या मेरी
person is
बेटी है,
my
अभी
relative, my son
आज
or
किसी
my
को पूछा
wife
जाता है
who
पूछता
died.
है कौन हो
His
तुम,
son goes to
सब
him and then
कहते
he
हैं कि हम
asks, "Who are
जानते नहीं
you?"
थे,
Many people have
हमारी
told
बात
me
जो है वो मैं
of
तो
their
तुमको जानती नहीं है।
experience like this, that
और ऐसे जब
somebody
हम
says
इस
his
बात को
mother doesn't
सुनते हैं
recognizes him. So this type of
तो उसको
person,
नहीं मान
what will he
सकते,
lament for? So this is all happening due to
उसको
the
नहीं मान
memory
सकते,
only. We say this person
और
is
इस बात को
mine,
जानोगे तो क्या आप
but if you
आपके
lose
संतान
the
को नहीं
memory, then that person is
तब
not
भी,
no longer your son. So he is still your son,
लेकिन अब आप नहीं मान रहे इसको,
but you are not accepting
और कोई
him to be
मनवा
your
नहीं सकता
son,
है,
and nobody can forcefully make you
संसार में
accept that.
ऐसी कोई ड्रग नहीं बनी है
There is no drug has been manufactured
कि
that you
बोले
just
हाँ ये मेरा
inject in
बेटा
that
है, ये
person
मेरा
and
बेटा
then person starts saying that yes,
है, नहीं।
this is my son.
तो ये सब खेल मन का है,
So this is all the game of the mind.
मन में वृत्तियां आती हैं जाती हैं,
So
वृत्तियां
all
आती हैं
these
जाती हैं, जैसे
vrittis keep happening in the
अभी
mind.
आप
They keep coming and
स्क्रीन
going. It's like a cinema,
टेलीविजन की स्क्रीन
a television
के ऊपर
screen.
लाइट या फोटॉन्स जो भी कुछ आ रहे हैं
All these
उसको
photons
हम
or
इमेज
light
करते
which are
हैं कि ये
coming, and
है
in
कोई,
that we keep imagining. Actually, there is nobody in that.
स्क्रीन पर कोई आदमी है क्या,
Is there any person actually on the
टेलीविजन
theater
की स्क्रीन
screen?
पे क्या कोई
On
है,
the television screen, is there any person actually there?
कुछ नहीं है,
There is nothing there.
ऐसे ही है संसार में।
So the
आप
world
किसी
is
को
operating
देखेंगे तो
like
वो
this
वही
only.
दिखेगा,
When
जैसे
we are seeing
टेलीविजन की स्क्रीन है तो
somebody,
आप
we are
देखेंगे
seeing
तो वो
like
इमेज
what we see
दिखेगा,
on television screen only.
आप कोई
So when
मैच
we see
देखते
a
हैं तो
television screen, you are
बास्केटबॉल का उसमें
watching,
टेलीविजन
let's say, a
स्क्रीन पे दिखेगा,
basketball match or some match, and you say this
आपको
person
पता नहीं
scored
कहाँ पर
this.
खेल चल
So
रहा है,
actually, we don't know
तो आप
somebody
देखते
else
हैं,
the game is going
तो
on. We are just
वास्तविक
watching
में
on the
जो देख
screen,
रहे हैं
and
वो
those who are
स्क्रीन पर
actually
देख रहे हैं,
playing in the
आप
field, they
केवल
are
उस
also
स्क्रीन पर
playing on
देख
the
रहे हैं,
screen only. You are watching on the double screen, the screen
एक
of the
स्क्रीन
screen.
आपके मन की स्क्रीन है और
One is your screen of the mind and the other is the screen of the television. And in that also we become attached. Your team won, and then you want to drink beer. Your team lost, then also you want to drink the beer. So it is all happening on the screen only. It has no relation with you. So why we act like that? It is all because of raga dvesha. It is nothing actually. So actually there is no truth in that, but we simply get immersed in that. We are shouting, we are dancing. And people who are playing, they have nothing with you when you are watching that. If you yourself were playing, then it's a different issue still. But you are not playing also. You don't have any relation with those people also. But then you establish some relation with that person by mind. If two teams are playing and both are, let's say, neighbors, so one side becomes happy by seeing the other person losing, but they are part of the same earth only. It's just a gap of distance. So some person wins and you become happy, the other person starts crying. So even if you should actually derive ananda in the play, it's a play. Whoever loses, you win or the other person wins. You should derive pleasure in the play, but we have got attachment that this person belongs to me, it is my team, and the other is my opponent's team. And because of that ragadvesh, all kinds of emotions arise. So this is all play going on due to ignorance. In ignorance also there is lot of rasa. That's why people, they drink wine or they take drugs, they get into ignorance. Drinking wine means trying to forget. Ignorance means not understanding something. You understand something, and if you forget, you say that I do not remember, I do not understand. So people intentionally delve into ignorance and they say ignorance is bliss. This is a very famous statement. Actually, there is no bliss in ignorance. There is no bliss in ignorance, but it's a great illusion. Actually, Ananda is in knowledge. If you have actual knowledge, that is actual rasa, and that rasa cannot come, it does not depend on any substance, any drugs, any wine or anything. It remains always because that is your own. It does not depend on any external object. This is what we have to understand. That's why Bhagavan says this verse. So this bhavitavana bhuya can also be understood as abhavitavana bhuya, means which remains but then does not, but ceases to exist. That is also not truth. And which does not exist earlier and then exist, that is also not the truth. Meaning is same only. So here also Bhagavan is has explained this about these six transformations. These six transformations in that birth and death, the first and the last one, these two are main. The other four are happening in the middle stage. That is why Bhagavan spoke first of these two. Na jayate mriyate va. First he talks about birth and death, because mostly people are immersed in this and worried about this. They are immersed in enjoying others' birth, child's birth, and grieving for death. So Bhagavan is telling, don't celebrate birthday. Anybody who will celebrate birthday will definitely be grieving on death. If you are happy in birth, then you will definitely grieve for death because both are joined together. What is born will also die. So if you have happiness for birth, you will also have grief for death. But if you don't have any happiness for birth, then you will have no lamentation for death also. This is balance, equanimity. Yoga means samatha, balanced state of mind. So the happiness and pleasure and pain, they keep coming and going. That's why Bhagavan said, just observe them. Just observe this pleasure and pain coming and going. That is why Bhagavan is telling that there is no birth, no death. Whose birthday do you have to celebrate, and for whose death do you have to lament? Now you have started worrying, should I not celebrate my birthday? No, you can celebrate. I am not stopping you from that. I am simply explaining what is told here. Don't be feel miserable that now I cannot celebrate my birthday. I am grateful that you are listening to me. So all these transformations that happen between birth and death, we don't focus on that. We focus mainly on these two transformations, the birth and death. And the other four in between these two, mostly we do not observe them. So here Bhagavan has talked about that also. The second line in this verse is talking about all these transformations only. And the other point is that if you analyze from the point of view of Nyaya Shastra, then Nyaya says that any object which has avayavas, that is perishable. Avayav means parts. So any object which is not made of parts, you cannot destroy that object. Because destroying means to the object which is made of its parts, just separation of those parts, breaking away those parts, then that object does not exist there. But that object which does not have avayavas or parts, how will you destroy that? So Atma does not have any avayava. Atma is not made of some parts. Atma is devoid of parts. That is why its destruction is not possible. Just like in Brahma, like we have this space, Akasha. Akash is not made of parts. It has no avayavas. That's why Akasha cannot be destroyed according to Nyaya. That's why in Nyaya Shastra, Akash is considered eternal, Nitya. Any object which is made of earth element, solid, liquid, you can break it up. You can separate the parts. But Akasha, Atma, they are not made of parts. That is why there is no need to lament. One who does not understand this, Bhagavan is telling that person is ignorant. And as long as that ignorance will continue, till that time, the raga, dvesha, lamentation, the moha, all these will continue. So that's why we have to get rid of this, and Bhagavan is focusing that. All these verses which are there, these are all remedy for shoka, for lamentation. People who are in depression, if they actually understand this, there will be no depression. Why depression happens? That is because they have attachment to something, they want to achieve something, they have hopes to attain something, and when they become hopeless, because their desires are not going to get fulfilled, and then their ahamkara is not strong, then they become depressed. This is how it works. If we can understand this properly, then we will not fall into such situation. That is why Arjun, who is hearing Gita, he is said to be a very courageous person. That's why the path of spirituality It is not for weak hearted people, it is for courageous
जो
people.
बलहीन हैं, कमजोर हैं, क्योंकि वो अपनी कमजोरी को छोड़ना नहीं चाहते।
Because such people, they do not
सिर्फ
want to get rid of their
शारीरिक कमजोरी
weakness.
नहीं है, मानसिक
It is
कमजोरी
not
भी है।
talking about physical
तो
weakness,
यहाँ
talking
हमें
about mental
वीर
weakness.
पुरुष बनना होगा,
So we have to become
और
brave, we have to
समझ से
become
नहीं,
courageous.
क्योंकि
And
ये
that
तो
happens
शारीरिक बल
by
की बात नहीं है
understanding.
कि आपको जिम
Because I
जाना
am not
है,
talking about physical strength,
मानसिक
that
बल,
you have to go to gym, lift
आध्यात्मिक
some
बल
weight.
जिसको
I
बोलते
am
हैं,
talking about
और ये
mental
ज्ञान
strength,
से,
spiritual
समझ
strength.
से।
That
मेरे को
happens
समझ
through
में आ गया कि
understanding.
गुरु किस
When I will
कोई
understand
गलत
this,
है नहीं, मेरे को
then I
सही
will
करना
not
है,
have any fear of
मेरे को
anything,
किसी से
anyone.
लड़ना नहीं
I
है,
don't have to
मेरे को
lament
दूसरों
for
से किसी
anything.
से
I don't
लड़ना
have
नहीं
to
है,
be fearful of anything, not guilty
मेरे
of
को कोई
anything,
इंफीरियरिटी कॉम्प्लेक्स नहीं है।
no
क्यों
inferiority
क्यों
complex.
होगा मेरे
That
को?
he is like this, I
क्यों
am
होगा?
like this. Why I have to be feeling
अगर किसी
inferior
का
to anybody? I am Atma.
ज्ञान ज्यादा है किसी विषय
If
को
somebody
लेके,
knows more than me, if somebody
तो
has more
अगर
strength than me,
फिर उसकी
somebody is
बात ही
more
सुननी है
beautiful
आपकी,
than me, these are all external. They
और
keep
इससे
coming
मेरे
and
को कोई
going.
प्रयोजन नहीं है,
I have no nothing to attain in that.
तो मेरे को क्यों दुखी होना
So
है?
why should I
क्योंकि हम
be
लोग
miserable?
अपने आप को दूसरों से कंपेयर करते रहते
We
हैं,
keep
फलाना ने
comparing
मेरे को
ourselves
ऐसा
with
ऐसा ऐसा कर
others.
दिया,
That
और
person
दुखी
is
होते
like
रहते
this,
हैं,
he did this,
और फिर
that,
नींद नहीं आती
and
है,
then we become miserable, and then we
और
lose
दुखी
our
होते रहते
sleep,
हैं,
and for
तो ये
hours
मानसिक
we
वीकनेस है।
remain disturbed. So this is all mental
तो इससे
weakness.
हमें ऊपर उठना है,
So we have to rise above all this.
और यही वीरता है,
And this is
अर्जुन की
courage.
तरह।
This is bravery, like
अर्जुन ने
Arjuna,
कहा ना, नष्टो मोह,
like how Arjun said,
अर्जुन इसी के कारण तो कमजोर हो गया था ना, कह रहा था
Nashto
गांडीव
Moha.
न्यस्ते हस्ताम,
So Arjun had
मेरे
become
हाथ से
weak,
गिरा जा रहा
that Gandiva
है,
is
इसलिए
falling
उसकी
from my
शारीरिक
hands.
शक्ति कम हो गई थी क्या?
So do you think he lost his physical strength suddenly?
नहीं, शारीरिक दुर्बलता
No,
नहीं आई थी, मानसिक
there was no
दुर्बलता आई
physical
थी।
weakness. It was mental
जब बाद में ये
weakness.
सब सुना, उसने कहा
And
नष्टो
when he
मोहस्ते
heard all
मय्येव,
this, then he said that now my moha is gone.
स्थितो अस्मि
I have
गच्छामि,
regained my
अब मैं
memory.
स्थितो अस्मि, मेरा सब
Now I
डाउट
am
खत्म
well
हो गया, स्थिति हो
situated.
गई उसकी।
I have my doubts are
वो कमजोर है,
destroyed.
वो मानसिक
So
है,
this
वो
weakness
कौन
is
बोलता है
actually
कि वो
mental
बहुत
only.
बड़ा आदमी है, वो
Like when we
महात्मा है,
say this
ग्रेट सोल
person is
है,
a Mahatma, great
इसका
soul,
मतलब
the
ऐसा नहीं कि
great
वो
soul
बहुत बड़ा
doesn't
आदमी,
mean that
शरीर
he's some
व्यक्ति
physically
है,
very big
ऊंचाई
person,
पे
very
है,
tall
नहीं कि उनका
or
मानसिक बल
anything.
है,
That is mental
और
strength,
कुछ नहीं।
nothing
और
else.
मन से ही होता है सब कुछ।
And everything
हिंदी में
happens
लिखा
through
है ना,
mind
मन
only.
जीते जग जीत,
In Hindi, it is
जगत
said,
जीत
Man
मतलब
jeete
अपने
jagat
आप को
jeet,
जीतना,
means if you have won over your
सब कुछ
mind,
जीतना।
you have won over
मन
this
को जीत
world.
लिया मतलब आप बहुत स्ट्रांग हैं।
Winning over mind
स्ट्रांग एज
means
स्ट्रांग,
you are
ये
very
इतना ही
strong.
है कि आपका अपने मन
Actually,
से
your strength
हर
is
चीज
this
की
much
मालिकी हो
only,
सकती है।
that how much control you
आप
have over your
बुद्धिमान
mind.
हो,
This is
और
real
आप
strength.
मन के
No matter
नियंत्रण नहीं है तो
how
आपकी
much
कमजोरी है।
strong you are, if you have
कोई
don't
भी
have
आके
control
आपको
on your
गुस्सा
mind,
दिला
you
देगा,
are weak.
गुस्सा दिला देगा,
Because anybody will tell you
कोई
anything,
भी
provoke
आके
you, and you will become
आपका
angry.
पेच ढीला कर देगा 2 मिनट में,
You will loosen your
केवल
screw,
शब्दों से ही,
and just by his
शब्दों से दुखी
words,
कर देगा
and
आपको।
you will
आजकल
become
के लोग
angry.
दुखी होते रहते हैं,
Mostly
कुछ
people
बोलते हैं
become
खत्म कहानी,
miserable by
खत्म कहानी।
hearing somebody's words only.
तो ये असली
So
वीरत्व है,
this is real
असली
courage,
बहादुरी
real
है।
bravery.
तो भगवान इसको सिखा रहे हैं।
That is what Bhagavan
इसके
is
लिए
teaching
आपको
here.
जिम जाने की जरूरत नहीं है,
For that, you don't have to go to any gym.
घंटों आप जो है ऊपर नीचे दौड़ते रहें, वो ठीक है शरीर
For
के
hours
लिए,
together, you go up
असली
and down. That is okay for
जिम जो है
body.
वो ये
But
गीता वाला है।
real gym is the gym of Bhagavad Gita.
गीता के जिम में थोड़ी एक्सरसाइज करो,
So you should do exercise in the gym of
और
Bhagavad
फिर देखो
Gita.
आपका जीवन कैसे बदल
And then
जाता है।
you see how your life changes.
तो आज का प्रवचन यहीं पर
So
समाप्त
we
करते
will
हैं, इसके कोई
end
प्रश्न?
today's class here. And if you have any question, you can ask.
प्रश्न है, राधे राधे महाराज जी, आपने पिछले सप्ताह बताया
The
था कि
question
कई
in
बार
the
हमें
previous class,
सारे
you had
संस्कारों के
said
स्वरूप केवल
that
मन की आवाज आती है, तो
the
मुझे जानना
samskaras
चाहती
what we
हूँ
have
कि
inside our,
यह
it is simply due
सही क्या
to
है और
the
यह
voice of
किसका
mind only. I
संस्कार है
want to
और
understand
यह
what is intelligence and how it
कहा
works,
जाता है?
because mind and intelligence
बहुत
have
अच्छा
been
प्रश्न है
explained
आपका,
separately.
पिछली बार मैंने इस पर
So
ज्यादा बोला नहीं था, अभी
so this is a
प्रश्न
very good
दोहराऊंगा,
question. Now let me
तो
try to
इसको ध्यान
explain
से
here.
सुनिए आप।
So now please
या
hear
क्योंकि
carefully.
हम भी बोलते हैं ऐसे मन की
Although
आंतरिक आवाज,
we also
आत्मा की
say
आवाज, ये
that
आवाज,
voice of
ईश्वर का
conscience, voice
परमात्मा ने
of
ऐसा बोला,
Paramatma, voice of mind,
परमात्मा ने मेरे को
inner
ऐसा बोला,
voice, Paramatma told me
तो
like
इस
this
तरह की
from
चीजें
inside. All these
बोलते
things
हैं।
we keep
कोई बात
hearing.
नहीं, मैंने
So
कहा
that
था
is
कि ये
okay.
सब बकवास है,
I had told earlier that this
लेकिन
is
फिर
all
से बोलूंगा
nonsense.
यार।
But now
तो
please
देखिए
understand it
हमारा
properly. What happens is
शरीर
that we have
और
this
स्थूल शरीर और
gross
सूक्ष्म
body.
शरीर है।
and inside gross body there is subtle body. So in subtle body, some people say there are 17 divisions, some say there are 19. So there are 5 knowledge senses, 5 karmendriyas, the action senses, and total 17. If you put ahankar chitta, then there is 19. So considering all this, we have this subtle body. So when somebody dies, what happens is that the atma carries the the subtle body with itself and discards this gross body here only. The gross body remains there and atma goes away with the subtle body. So the in the gross body, the eyes knows what we are seeing. These are actually not senses. They are called golaka. These are the instruments of the senses or the indriyas. These are the instruments by which the indriyas, the senses are working. So like we have this brain. So brain is the instrument for mind, intelligence and chitta. In modern psychology, they actually cannot say that where is the mind. Nobody has ever understood. They talk about brain. There are different parts of the brain. That is all right. But actually, where is mind? Where is ahamkara? Who says that I ate, I heard? That they have never understood. Because these are all beyond that. So all these feelings that we have in the mind through the external senses, because all our experience is through the 5 indriyas, the 5 senses only, not from anywhere else. All these external experience, it is all coming from outside only through these 5 senses. So whenever any knowledge we have, what happens is that you see some object, like now you are seeing me. So now I am the object and your eyes are the indriya, the senses. So first there is a contact. Your eyes establish contact with the object and then a sensation arises, a knowledge that goes to the mind. So the mind and the indriya, they have contact, and the indriya, the sense, has contact with the object. Until and unless this contact is there, you will not get knowledge of the subject. Let's say you are sitting in the class, my voice is going to you. If your mind goes somewhere else, then you will not hear that. So that's why the presence of mind there is very important. So mind is one and senses are 5. That is why mind has to contact through all the 5 senses. So like when we say that hear attentively, it means that connect your mind with your ear. Don't take it anywhere else. So when you have any feeling in your mind, so that feeling, as soon as it comes to the mind, so mind tells this much only, that whether I like it or I do not like it. It is favorable to me or unfavorable. Mind cannot give you any knowledge about that feeling. Mind gives you experiences only 2 things whenever any feeling comes, that whether it is favorable to me or unfavorable to me. Mind does that much only. Then comes the role of intelligence. So the intelligence, taking that feeling, it goes to the chitta, and in the chitta all your previous experiences are stored as samskara. So whatever experience has come now, it compares that experience with the already existing samskaras in the chitta. It's like you consider like a hard disk. There are files, many files stored in that. You can call it like memory file or whatever. So there is file of taste, there is file of sound, there is file of touch. So all the experience that is coming, it will contact that particular file only. If it is a taste, then it is sweet, sour, or whatever. And when it matches with the samskara, then it says that okay, this is sweet. If you understand it properly, you can take it like now we have electronic dictionary in the computer. So you just type the spelling of the word that you want to search. As soon as you type the spelling, the processor, which it compares it with the dictionary already stored inside, and whatever you have typed, it starts showing those words only, uh, what you have typed. And when you will get the actual exact word after having typed completely, then it will show the exact word. So if that word exists in the dictionary, then only it can show you. If your computer dictionary does not have that, then it will say not found. So whatever experience is coming from outside, we are recognizing it. If anything you experience first time, then you say that I don't know about this. It is same like computer telling not found, because that experience does not exist in your chitta, in the samskara. So your intelligence cannot tell anything about that. So whatever bodh, understanding you say, the knowledge of the vastu, it is happening through the intelligence. So mind gets the feeling, then the understanding happens through intelligence, and to understand that, then there is chitta. And when all this happens, then this is a knowledge that this is a book, table, this is a cow. Then comes ahankara. Ahankara says that I know that this is a table, I know this is this person. There, then that my the me feeling comes. Ahankara is the boss of everyone. Ahamkara is like the king. All of all others work under ahankara. Like there is an army, so there is a general of the army, the commander. So the army is fighting, but if the army wins, the commander will say we won. Earlier the kings used to say, there some people used to say this king won. Maybe the king even did not go to the war, the king might have been somewhere behind. Actually the army is fighting, but the credit will go to the king. Like if some company is manufacturing cars or manufacturing cell phones, then the owner meets somebody, and if he's asked what do you do, then he says that I manufacture cars or I manufacture mobile phone. So is he himself doing it? No, he is the owner of that. The actually the people under him are working. So whatever is happening in our body, it is the boss is ahankara. So when a person becomes depressed, his ahamkara has gone, the ahankara has died. Like, so that is Arjuna's Vishada Yoga, the yoga of dejection. His ahamkara is dead. So he was telling, Arjun says that how can I kill all these people? So his ahamkara was hurt, and then he sat down. Now he could not stand up also. He sat down. So in the 47th verse of Gita first chapter, it was said that he just sat down. So he just gave up bow and arrow. So this is how it works. So when we say that this is the voice, inner voice, voice of conscience, Paramatma said, whatever, that is actually coming from the chitta. So mind works with the external world and it works internally also. Like we see dream in the night. So there nothing is coming from outside. No feeling is coming from outside. And internally everything is stored like in the hard disk, that is the chitta. So all this is coming from there. All these samskaras, vasanas lying down, what you could not do. So that time intelligence sleeps. Buddhi, intelligence does not do anything in that. So the mind simply keeps throwing from the chitta, and that we keep seeing in the dreams. There is no buddhi, intelligence working that time. So the buddhi does the work of taking decision. Mind gave some feeling to the intelligence, and intelligence said that this is a chocolate or a cake or a rasgulla. Now the mind will say you should eat. Mind simply thinks about two things, it is favorable or unfavorable. So now mind says we should eat. So now it comes the role of buddhi If you are actually intelligent, you may think that I have diabetes or my stomach is full, I will not eat. That happens through the intelligence. But now if your intelligence is weak, it is does not have strength. Many people's intelligence is like that, it has no strength at all. Like their intelligence is undergoing fever, so they say that, Arey, let us eat it, whatever will happen we will see later, we should not worry now about it.
बाद में जो होगा वो देखेंगे
Whatever will happen we will see later, why should we worry now, let's eat. So that means your mind is more powerful than the intelligence. That's why in Gita Bhagavan says that by equipping with intelligence only you can get out of this cycle. Without intelligence, that you get immersed in karma, which means the samsara, the material world. But when buddhi will come start playing its role, then you will understand I should do it or I should not do it. So this is the role of intelligence in breaking that cycle of karma.
विलास जी पूछते हैं, मैं इस हेतु
So
को नहीं
next
समझ पाया
question,
कि
I could not
दुख कोई
understand the
अस्तित्व
hetu
नहीं है, क्योंकि
that
मैंने
death
ऐसी
does not
बहुत
exist because we have
सारी
never
चीजें देखी
witnessed
हैं
it.
जिन्हें हम
So
नहीं
many things
देखते,
happen without
इसलिए
me
ही
witnessing
बाजारों
them.
में अखबार में
That's why there is a market for
अगर मैंने
newspapers.
शरीर का
Also,
भैया किसी ने तो देखा नहीं तो अखबार कैसे हो गया? मैं कह रहा हूँ मृत्यु को किसी ने भी नहीं देखा है.
so answer, I am telling that nobody has ever seen death from where it came.
टेलीविजन में आप न्यूज़ सुनते हो तो
Newspaper, television, when you see news, that person has seen that or no? Otherwise, how is that person reporting? But who has seen death?
वह आगे भी बोलते हैं कि मैंने शरीर का
Then
गर्भाधान नहीं देखा,
continues,
परंतु
also I have not witnessed the
गर्भाधान हुआ।
conception of my
इस
body,
प्रकार से इस
but
बात
still
को
the
हम समझ
conception must
सकते
have
हैं
happened.
कि
How
मृत्यु
can I
अस्तित्व
better
नहीं है।
understand the logic of death not existing? So answer, that's why I explained, if death exists, you give me praman, give me proof where there is death, whoever died, you should prove it. I am telling that you have also never experienced death, nobody ever has experienced his own death. So when you see newspaper, there was garbhadan, those who did the garbhadan, they are the praman, they are there. If nobody was there, then I could say that there is nothing called garbhadan. But for death, I say that I have not experienced, you have not experienced, nobody has ever experienced. So if you say that yes, it is there, then you give praman, give proof.
राजेश जी पूछते हैं, गुरुजी प्रणाम,
Next
अध्यात्म मार्ग
question.
प्रीति का मार्ग है, लेकिन जब हम अध्यात्म
Spiritual
मार्ग में
path is
होते
the
हैं,
path of
जब
love,
हम
but when we are
संसार
in
में
the
प्रवेश
path,
करते हैं,
then
तो
how to react when people
उन्हें
in the
कैसे
spiritual society
उस
are
मार्ग
talking
से क्या
nonsense?
करें?
How should I react to that? Then answer is, don't listen to that nonsense, and even if you listen, don't pay attention to it. Use your intelligence.
प्रश्न है, महाराज जी, मैंने सुना है कि अर्जुन जी ने
Next
कृष्ण जी को
question.
युद्ध के बाद दोबारा
I
गीता
have
जी
heard
ज्ञान देने के
that
लिए कहा था,
Arjun,
लेकिन कृष्ण जी ने गीता
after
जी
war,
सुनने
also
से
told
मना
Krishna
कर
to,
दिया। तो
he
ये बात
wanted to
सच है
hear
या झूठ है,
Gita,
महाराज
but
जी?
Krishna said no. If this is truth, then why it is so? So answer, where have you heard it? You please tell me. Where is the reference?
गीता जी का प्रश्न है,
Next
व्याकरण
question
से संबंधित
is
कि
a
गीता में
question
बहुत
related to
सारा
grammar.
लकार है।
What lakar is bhavita?
भू जो है
Is
भू
bhuyas again
शब्द
derived
धातु
from
धातु
bhu
से आता है
dhatu?
क्या?
So yes, bhuyas is from bhu dhatu. So then
कृष्ण जी पूछते हैं, न्याय, मन तथा बुद्धि के
next question,
शब्द
what are the
कौन-कौन से
English
हैं?
equivalent words for nyaya, man and
न्याय,
buddhi?
मन और बुद्धि के लिए अंग्रेजी शब्द कौन-कौन से हैं?
So better do not use English words for them. They do not have any proper English words. Because when you translate them into English, then you lose the original meaning. Although for behavioral purpose, you can use the words mind, intelligence, but actually there is no proper English word for them.
प्रश्न है, भगवान ने 4 युगों को क्यों बनाया?
Next
सिर्फ एक
question,
युग ही हमेशा के लिए क्यों नहीं रखा?
why Bhagavan made 4 yugas, not just one yuga satyug? Because there are 3 gunas and they undergo transformation. That's what is told here, that Prakriti keeps undergoing transformation. That is its nature. Otherwise, you can say that a child is born, then he should not grow only. So that is the nature of the material world. These 6 transformations, they are the nature of Prakriti. So it applies everywhere.
उत्कर्ष जी पूछते हैं महाराज मेरे
Next
प्रश्न
question.
में या मेरी समझ में कुछ गड़बड़ हो तो प्लीज क्षमा करिएगा महाराज भक्ति मार्ग में
So
कृष्ण के
next
प्रति
question,
समर्पित होके आगे
in
बढ़ना,
the path of
नियम
bhakti,
फॉलो करना और
surrendering to
बुद्धि लगा
Krishna,
करके
progressing,
बढ़ना, इन तीनों
following
चीजों को कैसे
instinct,
समझें?
using our intelligence. How do we understand this?
भक्ति मार्ग में कृष्ण के प्रति समर्पित होके आगे बढ़ना,
So again clarifying the question,
और अपनी
that
बुद्धि लगा
surrendering
करके
to
आगे
Krishna,
बढ़ना, इन
following the
चीजों
instinct,
को कैसे समझें?
applying intelligence, how do we apply all this?
आप तो स्वयं ही इनको समझ के भी तो कह रहे हैं बुद्धि लगा के आगे बढ़ना.
So the question is not very clear to me. You yourself are saying that apply intelligence. So although I do not understand your question properly, but I'm trying to say something, that in any path, whatever you want to follow, first you should understand it properly.
जैसे आप कोई भी चीज बनाना चाहते हैं ना,
Like if you want to make something, you want to cook food, so first you should understand properly how to cook. So if you have to walk on some path, you should understand from them who are very knowledgeable about that path. If you just go by your instinct, then you will not understand whether what you are doing is right or wrong. Because instinct is nothing but that what is coming from the chitta, your samskaras. That can be right also, it can be wrong also.
संदीप जी पूछते हैं अगर आत्मा
Next question,
तो शरीरों को
if Atma
कैसे मिलता है?
is so when did I say that Atma is like a seed?
मैंने तो नहीं कहा कि आत्मा बीज रूपी है.
मोहिनी जी पूछती हैं,
So next question, when we were on the first chapter, you had explained that when we don't listen to the inner voice, the voice will stop speaking to us. So how should we understand this? Because you also said that Arjun is not suppressing his inner voice. So should we hear to the inner voice or no? How should we understand this? So answer, hear. There's nothing to understand, you just hear it.
संदीप जी पूछते हैं आत्मा का आकार है क्या?
So next question, does Atma have any form, any shape? Atma has no akar. Next question, why am I so lazy and not using my knowledge to live my life? So answer, this is because your body, it has got lot of tamas, because body is a part of the Prakriti, and Prakriti has 3 gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas. So everyone has the different proportions of the gunas. Some people are more tamasic, some are more rajasic, some are more sattvic. So I don't know you, but from your question it seems that probably there is more of tamas in your body, so you have to reform that. So eat more of sattvic as much as possible, or rajasic, but to cut tamas you need rajas, and then to go above rajas you need sattva. So first you have to break the tamas, so for that rajas is needed. Everyone has his own gunas, all have their utility. Tamas is also needed, rajas is also needed, so then you have to analyze that.
संदीप जी पुनः पूछते हैं अगर आत्मा
So next question, if Atma has no shape, then how does body get shape? Because many times this coat shirt example is given. So this topic will be discussed in the next class, the next verse. That time you can ask this question. Okay, so we stop here.
ठीक है, प्रार्थना के श्लोक. सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत् एकं शास्त्रं देवकी पुत्रगीतम् एको देवो देवकी पुत्र एव एको मन्त्रस्तस्य नामानि यानि कर्माप्येकं तस्य देवस्य सेवा कार्पण्यदोषोपहतः स्वभावः पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेतः यच्छ्रेयस्यान्निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधिमां त्वां प्रपन्नम् यत्र योगेश्वरः कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीर्विजयो भूतिर्ध्रुवा नीतिर्मतिर्मम कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजंघ्रये भवे भवे यथा भक्तिः पादयोस्तव जायते तथा कुरुष्व देवेश नाथस्त्वं नो यतः प्रभो नाम संकीर्तनं यस्य सर्वपाप प्रणाशनं प्रणामो दुःखशमनस्तं नमामि हरिं परम् हरि ओम तत्सत्।